how I choose my cars in Need for Speed Shift. Before when I used to play online before it got locked off, I used to play with my friends and they used to ask me, how do you get your cars to corner so well? And I've always thought, and I've always told them, you do this, you do that, but they've always said, can you do a video for us to, to show us, give us a few ideas, and then we'll tweak it ourselves, because everyone has their own driving style. So I said, yeah, sure. 3 months later, now I'm finally doing it. Alright, now I think first we're going to start off with tyre pressure. Yes, tyre pressure, you always have the front a little bit lower than the rear, about 32 to the front, about 34 to the back. It helps out with any bit of understeer your car has. Any more than that and your car's gonna mess about with you, trust me. Brake balance, I usually keep it somewhere around the middle, somewhere around here, because if you have it at the front, when you brake you're gonna find you can't really turn, and then when you have it all the way down here like that, you're not gonna turn enough. Well, you are gonna turn, you're gonna spin out actually when you brake, and also they might lock up even with anti-lock brakes. Now on to the steering alignments and stuff. Steering lock completely full. Caster, you can have it from 2 to 3, 4 if your car tends to bounce a lot. So if it's the Koenigsegg or the Ford GT, around 3 to 4 will try and help the bounciness when you come to a unlevel track. Tyre angle for both front and rear, all the way out. Camber angle, all the way negative. This is to give you maximum grip on corners, although it doesn't benefit for straights, but then plenty of people have been faster than me on the straights, and then when they come to a corner, they go flying off and I'm okay. Ride height depends on the car really. I mean, because I'm using my Audi R8, it's my best handling car as a example, and some cars can't have a ride height of 70 rear and 60 front. Sometimes you bounce too much, so it really depends on the car. So that bit's a bit of trial and error for you. Let's see. Yeah, front sway bars. Like I said, really depends on the car. It tends to be that four-wheel drive cars have stiff sway bars, and rear-wheel drive cars usually have a little bit stiff to soft. And that's kind of what I followed it, but sometimes it can be the opposite effect. Sometimes rear-wheel drive might need stiff and four-wheel drive might need soft. Depends on the car. Yeah, front springs, yes, especially if you have a car that bounces a lot, you might want to have it completely soft or just a little bit like that. But you don't want to go any lower than that, or your car just becomes unbelievably unstable and you're going to end up bouncing off the track a lot, and it will fuck you up. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this bit, well, it's just a plain pattern. You have these two here, then you have the next two underneath, then you have these two on this side, these two on this side, that one there, and that one there. Basically, all these settings across here, underneath the springs, are basically set to give you maximum turning and oversteer, rather than less turning and understeer. Even if you listen to what the guy says, you're going to end up putting them all towards like this, all that way. I'll go through that one more time. So after the springs, you have the first two set all the way to the right, then the next two set all the way to the right, then the next two set all the way to the left, then the next two all the way to the right, and for the last two ones it's left and right. Simple as. It's just to give you the maximum turning for your corners and stuff. Okay, now this bit differs from different cars. Basically, these two up here, with four-wheel drive cars, you don't really get this. Actually, some of you do, but with the R8 you don't. But these two here, just put them to either 20 or under for these two little bits here. Some cars can have it 0, it just helps with more turning. But if you have a car that oversteers a lot, then don't put it to 0 like a Corvette. Don't put that to 0 because you will spin. Limited slip preload, straight to low, doesn't need to be any higher. It just reduces. If you've got a car that tends to twitch and try and fly out itself, then you can put that further up, like the Murcielago. That's very dodgy handling that can have, so you put that up a little bit, but for most cars, have it straight low. The Vizio lock, highest would be 30. But for all four-wheel drive cars, always put it to 10. Any lower than that, and you're gonna get a load of stick out understeer. So you're gonna be turning in, you got grip, and then it's gonna be washing out a couple of times. It's gonna be annoying. Setting it to 10 gives you that just about a little much oversteer to overcome this problem. But the most you want to do is say about 40. That's what I got my Murcielago set to, because some four-wheel drive cars need the oversteer. It's like an oversteer button, this thing is, as far as I'm concerned. Someone else might figure out the real reason for it, but I haven't. All I know is that it increases oversteer or not. Okay then, gear ratio, well, it's whatever you think really. I try to keep an even space between mine. I try to keep it all lined up rather than doing something like this and something like that. You know, try to keep it even sort of thing, rather than messing it up really. Try to keep everything straight and even together, make sure each gear ratio does its job. I wouldn't have first all the way up there, because then you just go first, second, third, and waste the time. Waste the time. Might as well just go straight through third, back on the second, straight on the second, that sort of thing. Okay. Downforce. Now this is a tricky one. These two down here, just leave them empty. You're never gonna need them. Don't make that much of a difference. But if you have them on full, they do decrease acceleration, sometimes decrease top speed. So you might go, top speed might be 200. You might only be able to go 195, 190 using these two. But brake duct opening, definitely have it open for the Murcielago, because that thing needs it. Trust me, I've done 3 laps in that and the braking gets longer and longer. It's so awkward. Now downforce really does have an effect with your top speed and etc. So if you got a car which really annoys you when you're hammering it, and it just isn't getting that much more turning, just up to halfway will do. And if you really just want to have a cushy handling car, you just top it to full. But sometimes you have cars that really don't need it, like the Koenigsegg R8, like what you see here, Ford GT, McLaren. There's plenty of cars that don't really need that at all, which is fine, actually, which is very fine. So that concludes my little tuning video, give you a good idea of how to handle it. Hope everyone enjoys this. Oganda. Yeah, I know, I can't remember your YouTube name, it's too long, complicated and stupid. Well, thanks for watching. See ya. Have a nice fucking day, everybody.